All right, so this week on our show, which you didn't see because we didn't get the audio, we spoke about a reporter on the ground in Ukraine by the name of Gonzalo Lira. At the time, that was on Monday. I think that was like the 18th or the 19th. He hadn't been heard from since approximately Friday, maybe Thursday. So it had been some time. Now that normally under normal circumstances, that's not a big deal. There are plenty of times you don't hear from someone for a few days. But Gonzalo Lira had been reporting on the ongoings and the events in Ukraine, whether it be Russian action or Ukrainian action or the militia or the civilians. He had been reporting on it once, twice, sometimes more per day. And he was definitely a critic of Zelensky. There's no doubt about it. He was a critic of Zelensky. But there's reason to be. If you look into the background of Zelensky, there's reason for critique. But because of the way he presented his material, which, according to him was, non-biased, he was attempting to be as objective as possible. But according to him, the Russians were taking action. Meanwhile, and they were winning definitively, or have been, and Ukrainian media and Western media were presenting a different version of the story. And so he was out here giving his truth, if you will. And they didn't like that. So then he posted an ominous video after he had seen several accounts that were getting removed, that were also sharing a similar perspective. And then also he was receiving emails requesting comment and emails about articles that were about to be written about him from the Daily Beast. I believe the writer or journalist, if you want to call them that, was Mark Hay. Anyway, let me get right into the video and let you guys see it for yourself. This is his video that he posted about it.
So I want you guys to know that if ever you don't hear from me for 12 hours during this conflict, if it's 12 hours or more, assume that I've been picked up by the SBU, and assume that the people most responsible are the Daily Beast. The Daily Beast, who deliberately lied about me, claiming that I'm not in Kharkov, admitted to the fact that people are looking for me and want to get a hold of me in the very hit piece that they wrote, and that they contacted the Ukrainian government to make them aware that I'm in Kharkov, make them aware of my significance, make them aware so they can send some SBU goons to get me. Understand what the Daily Beast has done. And when I said, in the title of this, that the Daily Beast wants to kill me, I'm not being hyperbolic.
So it's a kind of funny timing. It's nothing about this is funny if what we assume is true, regarding what may have happened to Gonzalo Lira. But the timing is funny because we're watching Western media, and it's the mainstream media sources, whether it be the Daily Beast or Washington Post, they're outright doxing people. And then, these are the same people where if you were to dox them, oh my God, they'll cry on TV. They will cry and cry. I mean, it's a fake cry. We all saw the video. Actually, you know what? I might pull it up real quick just because it was a good one. All right, so this is Taylor Lorenz, and I'm sure you've heard about it. She's the one who decided to dox Libs of TikTok, the account creator, and has since lied about it, saying that they definitely didn't dox their private information or their address or any of that, where they did, and it's archived and you can find it yourself. It's a bold-faced lie when they say that they did not dox the creator of the Libs of TikTok account. But they didn't just dox the creator. They showed up at the houses of family members as well. Anyway, these are the people that are doxing individuals like Libs of TikTok, and also these are the kind of people that are doxing people like Gonzalo Lira.
You feel like any little piece of information that gets out on you will be used by the worst people on the internet to destroy your life. It's horrifying. I'm so sorry.
Just look at this. Look at this smile. I clipped this, and I didn't do a great job. I think you can even see the little portion that I had to try to cut out of there. But she is very clearly smiling, like smiling, because she knows this is what she makes her living doing, is doxing people. But God forbid you do it to her.
It's overwhelming. It's really hard.
These are the people. So this same kind of thing is what happened to Gonzalo Lira. The only difference is he really was in a life or death situation. So let me see if I can pull up. I want to pull up so I'm going to pull up what Gonzalo Lira highlighted about what they posted. All right. So anyway, this is on Telegram, but this is just a piece that he archived from the article, and I'll pull up the article for you because it's no longer behind a paywall, so I can show you it. But inside of the Daily Beast article, it says, the highlighted portion here says, both he, his critics, and expert observers note that he's received death threats and withstood efforts to track down his home address from people outraged by his insistence, blah, 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 spewing propaganda. They're claiming he's propaganda. He's claiming they're propaganda. Propaganda is a fun word we all like to throw around. I throw it around a lot. The other line that is highlighted and then underlined is, the Ukrainian government did not respond to request for comment, but many experts doubt the veracity of this account and question whether he's really still in Kharkov as well. So the issue is not so much that they wanted to write a piece about him, but they notified the Ukrainian government, which is, they've got their attack dogs out there, the Nazi militias, that are now going to, not only are they now aware that Gonzalo Lira is out there in Kharkiv, but they know that he's speaking out against their agenda, and against their, against their side of this war. And he's not really; he's just being a critic of the propaganda. But the worst part is that if they didn't know about him, they had soon found out because of the Daily Beast. This is unethical, especially when you're talking about a wartime conflict, because they essentially said, this guy is speaking against our narrative and our propaganda stream, and he is causing people to lose faith in what we're saying. So go ahead and kill him or arrest him, whatever. But the issue is that there are rumors that he has been beheaded. And there were links to videos, but I tried to click on them, not because I wanted to see anyone get beheaded, but because I wanted to verify the authenticity to some extent. And all of those have been scrubbed, so I haven't seen anything to confirm whether or not he's been killed, and I hope he hasn't. But just be aware that, the Daily Beast, if he is dead, it's the Daily Beast's fault. It's pretty nasty. I mean, obviously he was at risk for doing the journalism that he was doing while being in Kharkiv and speaking from the perspective that he was. But his risk was nowhere near the level it became once the Daily Beast ousted him to the Ukrainian government and, by default, or by affiliation, their militia. So... And the thing that really lets you know that he has gone missing is he was supposed to go on a show with George Galloway. Where is it? He was supposed to go on a show with George Galloway called MOATS. I'm not really sure what MOATS stands for. But I'm going to play you the very beginning of George Galloway's show to let you decide what you think about it. This is after Gonzalo Lira was supposed to be there. This is George Galloway. I assume. I have no idea who he is.
It's with great regret and even greater sense of concern and anxiety and more that I have to tell you that there is still no sign of our first guest, Gonzalo Lira. We spoke with him on Friday and booked this appearance this evening. He has not yet logged in. We have not been able to contact him. Over the last hours, many people from around the world have been messaging me saying that it is some time since they heard from Gonzalo Lira. sometimes since he answered any personal messages. Now, some of those were prior to him answering ours, if indeed it was him that was answering. It is a matter of grave concern, close to an emergency.
Okay, that's enough. You get the idea. And I don't know how much more I want to show of somebody else's show. All I really want to say is I think the Daily Beast got this guy killed. That's what I think. And if he randomly shows up and he's not dead, good. I'm happy about it. I'd rather be wrong anyway. But it just goes to show you, it's just another level of this propaganda war that we found ourselves in for the last 2.5 years. I mean, obviously it's been going on much longer, but more people have woken up in the last 2.5 years. And this guy was trying to speak against this it's just a waterfall of propaganda. It's not a leaky faucet. They are just drowning you in propaganda to get you to support the idea of American boots on the ground and American tax dollars just constantly being fed into Ukraine. Over the last few weeks, I mean, first of all, we've spent we're probably over $4 billion just in the last few years. And then the IMF has sent them $14 billion. Canada has sent them a bunch of money. I don't know how much. Where's all this money going? How do they suck so bad? They're just getting free money just because, it's not really free. It's being tucked into the pockets of the crime families that run our country. But I won't go into that. I won't go into that today because that keeps getting removed. Good old YouTube doesn't like it. But, he was trying to give you the alternative perspective, possibly the truth. Who's to say, though? The fog of war is real. And you've got smaller examples like we brought up with the Libs of TikTok creator, and you've got, you could go and you look at people like Tucker Carlson. He's been doxxed. I think he even had to move because of that. It's and I'm sure it happens to people on the left too. I guess it happened to Taylor Lorenz, which is weird because she makes a living doing it. But when it happened to her, she cried like a little whiny, you know what? Anyway, I guess the moral of the story is don't be a dick. Don't dox people, especially if they're in a very dangerous environment, because, I would say the blood's on your hands. So much like if the creator of Libs of TikTok, if she ended up getting attacked or hurt or killed or any of that, that would be on Taylor Lorenz. Even though they try to deny that they posted it, but they did. They 100% did. Just like the Daily Beast. If Gonzalo Lira is dead or being tortured, that's on the Daily Beast. They don't even really care. I've seen other posts where they're trying to go after Patrick Lancaster, who is the guy doing on-the-ground reporting all around Ukraine and showing you the civilian perspective, interviewing civilians on the ground. So, I don't know. I'm going to wrap it up here because I don't really have much more to say. I'm hoping that Gonzalo Lira is all right. I hope that randomly he shows up and starts posting regularly again. And God forbid he shows up and all of a sudden he's pro-Zelensky. That'll tell a lot. Anyway, Semper Fallace, my friends. We're always dicked. I'm out.